Okay, so my first question is, a lot of people, you can't avoid going to the grocery store. What are your recommendations for going to the grocery store safely, before you go and after you come home with your groceries?
Okay, great. That's a great question. So I'm sure everyone has seen that the CDC has now put out a directive that when you go anywhere in public, especially places that you can't distance yourself, that 6 foot social distancing, like a grocery store, the pharmacy, that you wear a mask. So what I would recommend is you go ahead and put that mask on when you're at home, go to the grocery store, still try to maintain that 6 foot distancing if you can. That's really hard. Just think about when you go to the checkout line. There's a lot of people very close to you. So you'll want to wear your mask and keep it on. And what a lot of people do is they forget that the mask has to cover both your nose and your mouth. Okay, don't pull it down from your nose to help you breathe a little better or whatever. Keep it up the whole time you're shopping. When you get home or when you get into your car, make sure you clean your hands. So if you have hand sanitizer, that's great. If you don't, when you get home, make sure you wash your hands with soap and water. Then you'll want to wash all your fruits and vegetables. You don't need to wash them in soapy water. Soapy water can make you sick if it gets on your fruits and vegetables. You just want to wash it with water. A lot of people feel a lot more comfortable wiping down all their cans and their goods with a little bit of soapy water or disinfecting wipe. And that's fine too. You just don't want to use the disinfecting wipe on your fruits and there's also a lot of delivery services out there. If you can get that, especially if you're a higher risk person, an immunocompromised person, may want to select that, or you can get a family or friend to go to the store for it, pick up those groceries or whatever pharmaceuticals, and then drop them off at the house.
Now, do we know how long the virus can stay on surfaces such as grocery bags, cardboard, these items that you're bringing home from the grocery store?
They actually do have studies out there to show how long. The problem with that is, say they live on cardboard for 12 hours. They may live on plastic for 24 hours. They may live on a different item for 6 hours. It's really hard for the general public to figure out, does this item, is it 12 hours? Is it 6 hours? What is it? I'm so confused. It's even confusing for a healthcare provider. So we have a general rule of thumb. You want to clean everything as much as you can and clean your hands. And that goes for all the surfaces in your house as well. You want to try to clean those as often as possible and keep them all clean, either with soapy water, or if you have disinfecting wipes, you can use that too. There's a bleach solution you can use, although we do caution people about bleach because bleach is very strong. You really need to use it in a well-ventilated area. It will stain your clothes, and you should never ever mix bleach with ammonia, which means you should never put bleach in your toilet without making sure you flush it very well.
Alrighty, and as far as sanitizing surfaces, I'm hearing mixed reports that, the countertop has to be wet for 5 minutes before you can wipe it up, before it's actually sanitized. What is the general rule on that?
So the general rule of thumb is every disinfectant has a different, what we call a dwell time. That means how long the disinfectant needs to sit on the surface to kill the bacteria or the viruses in this case. What we recommend is if you've got disinfecting, look at the back of the container and see the dwell time. It'll tell you 2 minutes, 3 minutes, whatever. The general rule of thumb is this: wet the surface, clean it very well, and wet it with the disinfectant, and leave it wet for a while, at least a minute or two. Leave it wet, and then you can wipe it off or let it air. Don't blow it dry, and try not to dry it with a towel. It's better to be able to air dry that.
And as far as your clothes, before you go to the store, you're potentially exposed to all these different people. Do you recommend when you get back from the store, should you take your clothes off? Should you change your clothes? Do you recommend anything as far as like the heat you wash your clothes in?
So remember the 6 foot distancing. If you've got that 6 foot distancing, you should be protected. Your clothes should be protected. Everything should be protected. But if you're a little concerned about that or more concerned about that, it certainly doesn't hurt to wash clothes. I would recommend being able to wash them in the hot water you can. Now, if you have certain clothes that can't be washed in hot water, the detergent will do the trick for you. It has been recommended that you use detergent with a bleach alternative for dark clothes, but you can still just use a detergent. We do recommend you put it in the dryer and dry your clothes completely. So between the washing away of any dirt and the drying, it should take care of any virus.
Gotcha. And this is something, I mean, it may be a stupid question, but I've definitely been wondering, do you recommend that when you go out in public, for women with long hair, do you recommend that you put your hair up? Because I know your hair can really hold a lot of bacteria and just stuff that's in the air around you. Is that something that y'all have thought about?
We haven't really talked about it. A lot of our healthcare providers do wear a hair covering when they're taking care of COVID patients because they're very, very close to our patients, very close proximity. There have been no recommendations regarding washing your hair, putting your hair up, doing anything like that. I do recommend that people practice good hygiene, which is you want to bathe, shower daily. You do want to keep your hair clean. If you ever come in close contact with someone coughing or sneezing, you have your mask on your face, but if you feel more comfortable, definitely I'll go home and hop in the shower.
Alrighty, and my last question is, are there any hygiene tips that you have? You kind of touched on that just now, but anything further that we should let our viewers know about?
So I want to stress to everybody, to me, the best way to protect yourself, there's some basic tips here. The one now is when you go out in public, wear a mask. There are a lot of cloth masks out there. I'm sure family and friends are making them by the dozens. So please wear a cloth mask. I suggest you wear it whenever you go out, anywhere you go, even if it's out for to the grocery store and there's nobody there. Go ahead and wear that cloth mask. I suggest very strongly that you keep all the surfaces in your house clean. And even if you don't have a disinfecting wipe, use soap and water. That's easy. And then the last thing, and my goodness, we've been preaching this in the infection prevention world forever, is keep your hands clean. Always clean your hands. If you don't have sanitizer, it's okay. Wash with soap and water.
Alrighty, well, thank you very much for your time. Is there anything else you want to add that I didn't touch on?
Just want to remind people, 6 feet away, keep your distance, stay indoors if you can. Sure, go out, walk in the neighborhood, enjoy your time outside. The weather is beautiful out there. But remember, you can stay indoors, please do that.
Alrighty, well, thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Alrighty.
Stay safe, everybody.
You too.